The way we're living in the city of Rochester right now, with the banging that's going on from you young fellas, that's out there trying to be bout it, that leaves us 3 front rows we can put our parents in front of. Based on what's going on in the city of Rochester. Three front rows you can put your parents in front of. That first front row is the front row of your trial.
I have seen young people who, for the first time, who are going into incarceration. Some of them will act like they're tough. Some of them will act like they don't care. But in reality, once we get them inside, when the bay doors open, you hear this silence. Because now they're recognizing for the first time in their lives, they're not in control of themselves. Someone else actually has control over them.
The Sally Port doors close, and you're in an environment where if you want to leave, you can't leave.
You don't realize it till you come in, until that gate closes, that your freedom's gone. But once your freedom's gone, we're in control of everything you do. We decide when you shower, when you shave, when you get up, when you watch TV, when you eat. You lose all those basic decisions that you normally can make for yourself. Those are all gone once you enter this facility.
This is very serious. Many kids are quiet, they're reserved, and oftentimes I know deep down inside they're afraid.
And then after all of that is done and fingerprints are taken, then you're put into a cell. Another door closes.
Now you have been introduced to the criminal justice system.
This is absolutely not the place for a young person.
It's not just a game you're playing. It's very real and it's very serious. And tomorrow morning when you see the judge, your life hangs in the balance.
If you make a mistake that involves breaking the criminal law, it's a very serious mistake because the consequences are very serious. In almost every instance where you send someone off to state prison, the family breaks down. To watch a family member handcuffed after a verdict of guilty and march through the doors behind me affects the family very much. They are saying goodbye to their son or daughter for a long time. The criminal justice system is not a place to be. Not only does it result in harsh consequences, but it also has a disastrous effect on your future.
My feelings when the judge read the guilty verdict, it really didn't hit me at that point. I was still trying to live that lifestyle. I was numb from all the negativity I experienced in the street. But years later, I started waking up and realized, like, oh shoot, this is real. You know, I got 25 years of life. I got to do possibly the rest of my life in penitentiary. They found me guilty, and it was true. You know, I actually murdered an individual. I always think about wishes. That I wish I can do this, and that one wish was, I wish that I can take that mistake, that negative choice, that negative decision that I made back. And it's hurtful. You know, it's nice that I lay on my pillow and I'm aware of the situation, you know, and I cry. It's hurtful, you know, and it's not only affected me, my family, but it also has affected the victim's family as well. Because of my negative actions, there's no birthdays for this individual, no Thanksgiving dinners, no Christmases. I made a huge mistake. And if I had listened to my parents, that mistake wouldn't have happened. Some of the choices that I wish I would have made, was, one, I listened to my mom. I totally disregarded what the instruction that my mom was trying to give me. And still to this day, I hear that voice in my head where she's telling me, don't hang around with these kids. These kids will get you in trouble. And her words are true. I chose to be selfish and to abandon my family by making the wrong decisions and making the wrong choices. And that's something I gotta live with every day.
That second front row is the front row of your funeral.
Type of violence that paramedics and EMTs see in the city are anything from stabbings, shootings, blunt object assaults, you name it. It's something that our paramedics see daily in the city. When we respond to those calls, things are happening so quickly, we really don't have time to really focus on, their emotions. We really got to focus on getting them to the hospital alive and making sure that we can stop the bleeding or plug the hole. The most common thing that a young victim will say is, am I going to die? Am I going to make it to the hospital? I don't answer that question because I don't know.
We have a 16-year-old male shot in the abdomen.
All right, do you know who shot you?
The frustrating part for me as a clinician who deals with violent injuries is you find out how much of this is actually preventable, how much of this didn't need to happen. And if people have a second chance, they frequently say, oh gee, I wish I would have done something different. But it's too late at that point. So getting shot is not at all like what you see in the movies. It's ugly, it's painful, it's scary, it's humiliating. It's not something you want to do, and it's certainly not like what you see when you watch these things unfold on the big screen. The long-term effects of these kind of injuries, they certainly vary. But the one you worry about the most, people die. People can die shortly after they arrive here, in which case there's not much we can do. There's also situations where we've done everything we can do, and it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month before somebody dies, and that's obviously a horrible situation as well. The people who don't die, it's not common that you are shot or stabbed and you walk away without any injury. We see people who are paralyzed, who can't use their legs anymore. And those kind of injuries, you're going to live, but you're not going to live the way you were before you got hurt. What happens to somebody who comes into the trauma center and we're not able to save? Those people are pronounced dead in our emergency department, and then the medical examiner will come and collect the body and they'll go to the morgue.
A morgue is where dead bodies come and we determine what happened to them, why they died. When we're calling family members to tell them that we've identified their loved one or to tell them what the cause of death is, it's a very difficult emotional conversation. I think there's a sense of relief that they know some of what has happened. A lot of times there's anger for what has happened to that person. Feelings of guilt, why didn't I stop that from happening? So a lot of different emotions and a lot of very strong emotions as well. This is our small autopsy room. The body will get put on this autopsy table, and that's where we do the autopsy examination. When a person dies, it's not just about dying and no longer being here. I think people don't think about what their actions mean when they die. When you're gone, all the people around who have counted on you and loved you can't do that anymore. You're no longer there, and what a huge hole that leaves. Once the body has been examined here and that's all done and all the paperwork has been completed, then a funeral director from a funeral home will come here and take the body, and that body will get transported to the funeral home.
How many of y'all seen parents sitting in the front row of their children's funeral? It's heartbreaking.
The funeral of a shooting victim is a lot more emotional than the death of a person that has been ill for a while or that has died of natural causes. The atmosphere, the wailing and the crying. One word that I hear often is, "This is so surreal. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe that I'm here." One of the hardest parts of violence, gun violence, innocent victims, is the cost. Not just the emotional cost, but the dollars and cents. With funerals averaging $7,500, many families wonder how they're going to make it from day to day, much less, in the blink of an eye, have a $7,000 bill before them that has to be paid in order for the services to go on. The most heartbreaking situation that I have dealt with as a mother that came in with coins and dollar bills. And after she came in on the third time, I asked her, "Where are you getting this change?" And she said that they were selling hot dogs and potato chips to try to raise the money to bury her son.
Now just imagine, that's you in that casket. And you see your mother crying.
Michael was a sweetheart. He had the heart of everybody in the neighborhood. He just was a lovable boy. His smile would light up a room. It was on the news first thing that morning about a triple homicide on Chila Avenue. It's 5 blocks from my house, you know, so they were talking about it all morning. And to realize that this homicide that was on the news was my son being murdered, that hurt a lot. Because for my son to be murdered and dead in a house for 2 days, right up the street from me, and I rode by that house all weekend, not knowing my child was in there. It hurt. If I could talk to the people who murdered my son, I would ask them, was it worth it? Why? Because they're in jail, they're gonna go to prison for a very long time. And you didn't just kill Michael, you killed a part of me, you killed a part of his sister, his grandparents, his friends, everybody who loved him lost him. And he belonged to somebody and we loved him. You took something from me that I can never get back. And I would just have to ask, was it worth it? Because I just don't see that it was. I miss my son's smile. I miss his laughter. I miss his goofy jokes. You know, I just miss my baby. I miss my kid. I miss being able to touch him and see his face.
And then that third front row is the front row of your graduation. Go to school. Get your education. Sit up front in the class. Get all you can right now, that's your job.
Walking across the stage, it was like so surreal because it was like, oh my God, this is me. This is me doing it. Like I always knew, like it always was a goal, but like to actually achieve it and know like what I had to go through to get there.
Get it done, man.
The most important thing that a young person can do to ensure a happy, prosperous future is to have a plan and a goal.
My goals are to graduate high school and college and get a degree in medicine and to become a pediatrician.
Goals in life? Everyone wants to be successful. I want to be successful. When I grow up, I plan on being a neurosurgeon.
One of my goals is to be a physical therapist because I'm interested in how the body works. It's kind of fascinating.
I just got so much goals and I just know I'm going to achieve them. That's how I feel. Like I know I'm going to get it done.
Take advantage of the people in your building and the schools you go to. There are people there that I promise you are excited to talk about career opportunities and internship opportunities and clubs and different things that you could do to really learn what's out there so that you can have the life you want.
Once you get that education, doors will open up to you that you would never thought of.
What is it that you want to get to? And so that starts with high school. That's that first major goal to check it off, and then the sky's the limit.
When students are having a hard time seeing a positive future, you know, I would say it's really important that you talk to someone. You really need to talk to someone.
I do not expect any of my students to get through high school by themselves. But you have to let adults in your life know that you need help. And if that adult can't help you, go to the next, and to the next, and to the next, until you find someone that's willing to invest their time in you, and latch on to them and don't let go.
Things can always turn around. Things can always change.
If you let your challenges overtake you, that's your choice. Everybody has a choice. You could do it.
So I would tell them nothing in your past is greater than your future, and where you at right now is not the end of the race. If you embrace the truth today and be like, you know what, this is what I am, but it can get better, the doors are open, are endless for you to do things.
You are the only person that can live your life, and you have to make that choice for yourself, and you can do it.
A member of my family always says that if you show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
If you don't have the right friends, then they can take you down the wrong way in places that you don't want to go.
Peers are so influential that if you surround yourself with negative people, you will begin to do negative things. If you surround yourself with positive people, you will begin to do positive things.
So it's like, how do you transform your thinking is putting yourself around people that can challenge you on the level you want to be on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from an eagle. Why do I want to sit amongst chickens? You know, chickens eat from the ground and they look for handouts. Eagles soar.
You can absolutely decide how your life turns out, because the key part of that statement is your life. It's nobody else's life but yours. So you decide what it's gonna be, and it'll be that. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to make mistakes and start over. And it'll happen with diligence, but you have to be diligent and patient, and it'll be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, okay, you must be hard because you got your face scarred. Juvenile for a while, you a self-made star. You could have had a scholarship to play baseball, but you got into drugs so base and bar. You represent the streets from the corner to the sign, but it's funny how the street don't even know you alive. It don't know that you rap it whenever you spit a verse, or you got its name airbrushed on your shirt. It won't be crying when you laid in the dirt. Mine will, even though you feel the life for the hurt. Imagine if you never held a ratchet, if you never sold drugs to a bunch of crack addicts, you wasn't having sex, you kept your mind strict, never dropped out of school, became a college graduate. See, you would feel good, you only front cause you could, but you know you don't feel safe in your own hood. You're not a man because you got a gun in your hand, or you standing on the block trying to sell some grams. You mess around and get shot right where you stand. You'll be another young man that's a slave to the land. You're not a man because you got a gun in your hand, or you standing on a block trying to sell some grams. You mess around and get shot right where you stand.